We have a question. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base. What is the pH of a 0.02 molar sodium hydroxide solution? Alright, let's go. We're going to be solving this without calculator. The solution. Now, there are two formulas you need to know. What are the two formulas? The first one is that pH is the negative log of hydrogen ion concentration, which is H plus. The second one you need to know is that pOH is equals to the negative log of OH minus but they asked us to find pH. Why am I bringing pH in the equation? Now, first off, this 0.02 molar solution is the hydroxide ion concentration. Since sodium hydroxide is fully ionized and 1 mole of sodium hydroxide we yield 1 mole of hydroxide ion concentration. So the concentration of sodium hydroxide will give us the concentration of the hydroxide ion itself. So with this 0.02, I can get pH. Now, for me to get pH, I'm going to say that pH, alright, plus pH, that's the sum of both, is equivalent to 14. So first off, let's get the pH. Now, to solve this other calculator, there are 5 log values you need to know. The first one is log 1. Now, log 1 is equivalent to 0. Log 2 is equivalent to 0.3. Log 3 is 0.5. Log 4 is 0.6, and lastly log 5 is 0.7. Alright, so let's now find the pH of sodium hydroxide. So that becomes that pH will now be equals to the negative log of 0.02. To make it easy or to actually solve this question, we need to express 0.02 in standard form. So that's the same thing as minus log of 2 times 10 to the power of minus 2. So you need to know how to express in standard form. That's for mathematics in another day. Alright, so now from mass also, you know that when you have a log value of two numbers that are multiplied by each other, you can say that this is the same as minus log 2, alright, plus log 10 to the power of minus 2. Okay, so that's minus log 2 plus minus log 10 to the power of minus 2. Alright, now minus log 2, what did we say log 2 was? 0.3. So here we have minus 0.3 plus minus log 10 to the power of minus 2. Now you can solve this one without a calculator. This power here, you just have to pick it. The reason is that minus log 10 to the power of minus 2 is the same thing as minus 2 log 10. Log 10 ordinarily is 1. Minus 2 cancel this minus, we times minus 1 here to eventually give us 2. So whenever you are split it into, when you have this your concentration in standard form and it's split like this is what you need to worry about. Just pick the positive value here, alright, and you add it. So plus 2. Alright, so what we have left is minus 0.3 plus 2, which is equivalent to 1.7. You can see that's option B, but that's not our answer. The question said what is pH. Now we can say that pH, making special formula here, pH will be equals to 14 minus pH. Right, let's just substitute pH. pH is 14 minus 1.7. If you do that, you get 12.3 as our answer, which is option A. What is the pH for a 0.05 molar solution, that's concentration of hydrochloric acid? So in this case, it's straightforward, alright? The pH just becomes minus log H plus. So use the formula pH is equals to minus log concentration of hydrogen ion. Now, concentration of hydrogen ion is 0.05. Hydrochloric acid is monoprotic, and for every 1 mole of hydrochloric acid, 1 mole of hydrogen ion is produced. So for 0.05 mole of hydrochloric acid, 0.05 mole of hydrogen ion is produced. So pH will be equals to minus log 0.05, right? But we can express it in standard form as for question 1, which is now 5 times 10 to the power of minus 2. So I'm going to say this is the same thing as minus log 5, let's write plus minus log 10 to the power of minus 2, right? So this is now log 5 is what? Remember from our value said log 5 is 0.7. So this is minus 0.7 plus minus 2, that becomes 2 as we did before. Minus 2 is same thing as minus log 10 to the power of minus 2 is same thing as 2 log 10, and log 10 is 1. So minus 0.7 plus 2, you can use this with the JAMB calculator or just with your head, alright? So 2 minus 0.7, which is equals to 1.3. So that's the final answer. This is option C. Question 3 says you are presented with a solution that has a pH of 2.13. What's pH of solution? Alright, so this one is relatively easy. So the solution becomes that pH plus pOH is equivalent to 14, right? So that's the formula. Now we're given pOH as 2.13. To find pH, so of course 14 minus pOH, so that becomes 14. pOH is 2.13 minus 2.13. Now you can solve this using the JAMB calculator I was given to you. This XM video was basically meant without a scientific calculator. Alright, so those ones, they have basic arithmetics that you can do, but the answer here is 11.87. Alright, let me just add a side note here. If we have 14, we have minus 2.13. This is 0.00. We're going to borrow 1 here, it becomes 3, borrow here becomes 9, 10 minus 2 is 7, 9 minus 1 is 8, 10 minus 2, that's 1, 11.87. Alright. A sample of orange juice is found to have a pH of 3.8. What is the concentration of the hydroxide ion in the juice? Now, A says 1.6 to the power of minus 4, 6.3 minus 11, 6.3 to the power of minus 4, D 1.6 times 10 to the power of minus 11. Now, let's go to the solution. In this case, we're given pH already, and we're asked to find the concentration. Now, remember we said that pH is equals to minus log H plus, right? We said that pOH is equals to minus log OH minus. Now, to get H plus from this equation, I'm going to make H plus substitute formula by dividing both sides by minus log. And if I do that, I'll have that H plus, the inverse of log will give us what we call antilog. And antilog is just an exponential. So this is the same thing as 10 to the power of minus pH. Alright, minus pH. Same thing goes for OH minus. OH minus is 10 to the power of minus pH. Alright, they give us pH. We'll have to find H plus. Now, from that pH, we can find H plus. But the question says, what is OH minus? Now, there is another relationship you need to know. That's that H plus, that's the concentration of hydrogen ion, multiplied by the concentration of hydroxide ion, is equivalent to 10 to the power minus 14. Now, let's begin. To get H plus, we are going to say that H plus is 10 to the power of minus 3.8. Now, remember, our goal is to solve all of these questions without a calculator. So, how are we going to solve this without a calculator? Minus 3.8. The closest whole number to 3.8, that is, after 3.8, the closest whole number is 4. Now, this is not because 8 is greater than 5, but rather, whenever, even if it was 3.3, the closest whole number there, we'll use next one, which is 4. So 3.3, you go forward to the next, which is 4. Alright, if it was 5.16, that's closer. So, anyways, in this case, the closest whole number is 3.8 is 4. Now, remove 3.8 from 4, you have 0.2. Meaning that I can say that this is the same thing as 10 to the power of 0.2 minus 4. 0.2 minus 4 is minus 3.8. Alright, so we must find this relationship first. That this 3.8, the closest whole number that's after this one here, 3. So now, according to indices, 10 raised to the power 0.2 minus 4 is the same thing as 10 to the power of 0.2 divided by 10 to the power of 4. Yes, so this is known as 10 to the power 0.2 if you pick a common base, and fact of division you convert it to minus 0.2 minus 4. Now 10 raised to the power of minus, or 10 to the power of 0.2 is the same thing as log x is equals to 0.2. Now what is x? If you check those values that I gave you before, we'll have that x, we weren't given any specific value for 0.2 anyways, but I said that log 1, right, is equals to 0 and log 2 was 0.3. Now meaning that x is somewhere between 1 and 2, since 0.2 is somewhere between 0 and 0.3. Now to be safe, we're just going to pick a value that's between 1 and 2, which is 1.5. But meanwhile, by doing this, our answer will only be approximately correct and close to any of these values we have here. But let's do it since our closest chance, right? So x becomes 1.5. So 10 to the power 0.2, that's 1.5 divided by 10 to the power 4, which is now 1.5 times 10 raised to the power minus 4, equals to the concentration of hydrogen ion. Remember they said what is the concentration of the hydroxide ion? So use the relationship H plus and OH minus give us 10 to the power minus 14, meaning that OH minus becomes equivalent to 10 to the power minus 14 divided by 1.5 times 10 to the power minus 4. Now minus, sorry, minus 4. Alright, so this is the same thing as 1 times 10 to the power minus 14 divided by 1.5 to 10 to the power minus 4. So this is equals to 1 over 1.5 times 10 to the power minus 14 over 10 to the power minus 4. So 1.5 ordinarily is 3 over 2. If you invert 3 over 2, you get 2 over 3, right? So that's 2 over 3 times minus 14 plus 4, that's now minus 10, 10 to the power minus 10. 2 over 3 is 0.67. You can take out your time to divide that, but this is 0.67 times 10 to the power minus 10, which if we shift by 1 decimal to make our value here between 1 and 10, we'll get 6.67 times 10 raised to the power minus 11. And our closest answer here is option B. The reason here is 6.3 and here is 6.67 is because 1 and 2 we only gave an average, which is not exactly 1.5, that is in between, that's 0.2. But since we don't have any for 0.2, we have to pick in between. But our answer still remains approximately correct.